You guys, thank you guys. Good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? All right, all right. Who has friends? Show of hands.
Friends and benefits.
You don't have friends? I'm so sorry. Well, yeah, you have your phone. And maybe we can all learn something from our esteemed guest. They're already taken their seats. It would be lovely to have some glasses here as well. And we're going to talk to them about friendship, innovation, South by Southwest, and the new Dutch wave.
Yes.
So guys, welcome
Thank
here
you.
on the Dutch Innovation Days. And maybe we can start by, as friends, guys can introduce each other. Starting with you, Danny. Who is that charming fellow next to you?
Well, as Arne said, thank you for having us here today. Actually, Arne yesterday made a post that we were coming here. And what we normally do is, actually a good word is that, is I always speak about Arne as the brother from another mother. I don't know Arne that long. I've met him since 2016. And for me, Arne is the epiphany of someone who is always thinking out loud, how can we improve the world, relationship, creativity, but also make it work and make it look good. So he's the one that is always trying to do better. He keeps me inspired. He keeps a lot of people inspired. But he's the one that also wakes me up and said, "Okay, we should do different,
He wakes you
better."
up as well.
Sometimes, yeah. We do take trips a lot. He's a very different person in a very different part of the sector.
Because he's also a multi-entrepreneur.
He's a multi-entrepreneur, yes.
Which companies does he have?
He has Wink, of course. He has Feel Good Vuurwerk. He has De Lievelingen. And he has something called in Utrecht, a restaurant that's called the Zware Jongens, the Heavy Brothers. So he's a multi-talent. And to me, he came into my life in 2016, and I hope he still stays in for a long time.
Thank you for this beautiful introduction.
That's
please
a great introduction. Thank you, Danny. I love you too.
I know. We love
It was a very so how to introduce Danny Frietman? Well, I always thought that I was a very inclusive person. I could talk to anyone and was very interested in everyone. That's not true, not compared to Danny Frietman. He can literally take the best out of anyone. He can sit in a cab, have the cab driver talk about any African country he came from, and then have a real discussion about that country. And with everyone he meets, there's sincere interest and a sort of inexplicable connection that's being made between him and other people and introducing people. So he's a real super connector. Actually, to be honest, I know he's a serial entrepreneur as well, but also I don't really know what he's doing always. I know he's
keep it that way.
He's definitely always involved in government or semi-government and advice boards, and a lot happening in the tech sector. I'm just fortunate that we get to travel along to South by every year and bring along all the people that we bring on our New Dutch Wave. So yeah, we are relatively new together. We met by chance.
How did you meet?
Who
connected you?
Actually, our government connected us because I'm not sure if does anybody know in the room South by Southwest, of course, who has anyone's has been to Austin, Texas before. Does anyone know what South by Southwest is? We're going to show a quick movie before we go.
Let's do it
before, and then we explain where we met.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Roll the tape, Michiel. Am I in front of it? Yeah, I am.
That's fine. The volume can go.
Volume, maybe?
All right.
South by Southwest was created in 1987, has grown immensely to a 200,000 visitor yearly here in Austin, Texas. As New Dutch Wave, we try to connect the dots in this immense programming for our government, but also for the creative sector, the IT sector, music and filmmakers here together in Austin.
It's amazing to see all the Dutch companies that are here. We have Polymorph with their Symbiosis, and we have Drop Stuff with the Water Arch, but we also have knowledge institutions like the ROC Journal Fan, who is here. We have the Ministry of Economic Affairs. We have the Ministry of Internal Affairs with State Secretary for Digitalization, Alexandra van Huffelen. I feel like every time we get a year further, the momentum is growing, and I feel like we're all really on the same page there, and that's extremely exciting.
So together we have this huge range of people who come from so many different walks of life, who all have one thing in common, is that they want to show their stuff on this showcase festival, and it's just really nice to be able to facilitate so many people.
Oh, I feel that we are a powerful movement, curious, and we're here really open-minded, and I think the big word is relevance. We are really looking for impact and relevancy.
And we're at South by Southwest just to get inspired on new ways to bring journalism, the metaverse, AI, with the new Dutch wave. We're part of it because representation matters.
Ik ben hier eigenlijk om inspiratie op te doen. Hier komt echt alles langs. En ja, dat vind ik like a kid in a candy store.
Als je zulke kwaliteit aan mensen hebt, ja, daar word je zo blij van. Dus daarom vind ik ook echt dat hele New Dutch Wave. Ik zeg, die golf mag alleen nog wel groter worden.
Excellent, thanks so much for sharing that with us.
Yes.
Because the founder of Dutch, an insight of how cool it is, and the founder of Dutch Innovation Days, Peter, also this is a big inspiration for him to create something similar.
We heard, we love that, yeah.
And I think, well, there's room for growth.
Absolutely.
But I think the first steps are there.
Yeah.
But back to your story.
How did you
met
meet?
at Southwest?
No. So the long version is, but I'll keep it short. No, is that I've been organizing like tech missions for my government since the last 10 years, in Barcelona, in Lisbon, and at some point I was asked by our government to have a look at South by Southwest. So I went by myself with someone else of my current team, and I just looked back and I just was like in awe of what was happening there. I didn't know it that well. And at that point,
it wasn't your world.
It wasn't my world.
It was the world of suits.
Exactly. Exactly. That's very nice that you said it. I did, so I didn't really understand the world, but I thought, if I did see the immense potential of what was happening there, right? So I got back in the Netherlands, and then we got reached out by our government, and they said, okay, there's another company, a group of entrepreneurs that went, Arne.
Why did you go?
So my story is different. Ever since, I don't know, maybe 15 years, I was reading the column of Joost van Belle at 3 for 12, Lift 3 for 12, who was always going every year, and just the magic of all the bands and the magic of all the activations and just how all the city. I was already aware of that, and then my company. Wink moved to or branched out to the States in 2016. So we started our little office there, and that for me there was two things I wanted to go to. Wink does events and music and lifestyle and fashion and experiences, and there's two like flagship events, and one of course is Burning Man, and the other one was South by Southwest. And then I went and I noticed that there were 750 Dutch people from. Media monks to ADE to like a really wide range of people, and they were not connected with each other. And I felt if Wink is going to prove itself in the States, why not build a clubhouse and organize some sort of joint field trip for everyone?
And how did you connect?
But I never did that before.
Connected to the Minister of Economic
I didn't. That's what he did.
Okay.
So we just came back and said, "This is a good idea. Yes. We're going to have lots of brands following us, and we'll figure it out. But we have to have some sort of subsidy, which was a complete
blur.
For me, is unclear. For Wink, we don't work. We work for clients. So then it turned out to be our connection to the government.
Right.
And then we got we really, especially in the situation with South by with all the different tracks that you have there, we turned out to be really compatible and and not only that, also on a personal level we hit it off straight away.
Exactly. Yeah, and people well, just by looking at you, you seem like there are differences.
Yes.
But what are the things that what make you say he's a brother from another mother?
From my perspective, is if I would say it myself, is that, and that's the part of if you choose the way you work for other clients, but you always try to emphasize the message from the people you're with. It is always about amplifying that message, and that's the core of who we are. It is never about us. So openly talking about what we do. And Enschede is really actually one of the first times ever that we're so openly talking about what we do. We normally don't do this.
Very embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing. We really don't do this normally because normally our clients are here, or the state secretary here, or Constantine is here. It's never about us. We're just part of this. We're trying to build a platform or a movement or that word serendipity, and help people connect. That's what we do.
And Arne, for you, what was when you met and then start working together and started this? Is it immediately when the idea for the Dutch New Wave?
Well, the thing is, that's the part of the moment the government reached out to us, it was already 4 months before that we needed to go to the first South by Southwest in 2017, and then we got connected. We, of course, I think within less than 11 minutes, we knew already this was going to work.
We met in a bar during ADE.
We met in a bar during Amsterdam Dance Event, and we knew immediately that we didn't compete. We were compatible, beautiful word. So if you wanted to do this, we do it fast. And the government...
And what happened is in these 11 minutes?
We just figured out...
I'm asking...
Sorry, Arne. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, I don't know. It's really the compatibleness. So the fact that I felt quite secure on lifestyle, music, innovation, all these different branches, because we work for all these different clients, but I was not really, or not at all, secure in how a trade mission in itself should work. And then meeting him and his kind of inclusive character, there's a high likability. Yeah. So there was just a connection and also really a readiness to be non-competitive and compatible at the same time. So,
yes.
So also for people in the audience who are thinking of starting a business together with a mate from college, or what the compatibleness is relevant?
Well, I guess you have to share. You have to share a dream.
Yeah.
Have to have a purpose. So you want to know where you're going or why you're doing that, and that has to be outspoken amongst each other, so that you know where you're going.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think trust is super important. We are very fortunate that we are trusting by nature. I think that's also a thing that is in both of us. Yeah. So that helped. So we could get over that instantly, almost, just go. Yeah. But if you have a distrust, that won't work, I guess. So trust is important, and vision.
Yeah, let's talk about that vision, that shared dream. Mm-hmm. Was it, apart from that you both want to create a platform, but was it immediately clear for you guys that, this Dutch way of doing things is missing at South by Southwest?
Probably not instantly, but we knew that there was something missing at South by Southwest, which wasn't there. Because it wasn't organized, there wasn't a clear path towards success, and you could define success to connect the dots between the Dutch and other countries, right? And of course, the vision of Arne to have this clubhouse, this movement where we could actually bring people together, which wasn't there, and a little bit branded in the way that it was also recognizable, not only for the Dutch, but for other people. That was, I think, from the beginning, straight on. So if we could do this, then let's do this.
Yeah, I do think the mission has changed over time. So in 7 years, we have learned our lessons, and also. So I think in the beginning, I was thinking I was going to do new business myself, and make this amazing production. Soon I found out that the budgets, compared to what you need to do there to make it right, are not like that. So it really had to become much more about the actual mission, and therefore the facilitating and amplifying of the Dutch. And we've evolved, and now we've become much more of a traveling roadshow where we actually go out calling ourselves the Flying Dutchmen and meeting other countries and actively taking our participants and our whole crew.
Which are policymakers, entrepreneurs,
filmmakers, musicians, creatives, startups,
and then you bring them to, say, a couple of people from Asia and say, these are Dutch people, look at them.
That's a very, it's not as simple as that, but it does happen like that. So that's one of the words that came up when we got asked for this talk, which is kind of new for us, was the word serendipity. We use that since we got to South by because if you know South by...
Does everyone know what serendipity is?
Well,
Viagra, for instance, is serendipity, yeah?
Viagra?
Viagra serendipity?
Oh, the way it was found out?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
It was a heart medicine, and then people got other benefits from it. So this is, you're trying to find the one thing and find...
Interesting comparison.
Yeah, I've heard this from a friend, of course.
It wasn't the metaphor I was going for.
I know, it's interesting. All right.
No, I think we established we both go well in the moment. So improvising as a creative tool is not weird for us. It's kind of the way we roll. And that works really well in South by. And I think what we learned from the get-go is that there's 2,000 talks simultaneously and there's 7,000 concerts. It's like really, you cannot, there's no way you're not in a constant state of FOMO. So you have to pick 2 or 3 things a day and then leave it open. And you are definitely going to meet someone queuing for something else. You're going to meet someone in the elevator. You're going to meet something. So the mindset of serendipity is something we always encourage in our participants, and we kind of make it the first rule of South by. That's why we called it South by Dipity, which is a joke I cannot hear anymore because we already made it 7 years ago.
7 years ago, exactly.
But South by Dipity is, and I think also if you go for friendship or you go for working together, again, if you look at us as an example, and apparently we are an example, there is also this to adapt to this willingness to change and to grow with the flow and to adapt to whatever the situation is going, and to also learn from each other and grow together. And I think that's what was the bijvangst, I don't know how to translate that, but what was the extra serendipity, I guess, is that by facilitating these field trips, we found each other also as partners.
Yeah. I just saw someone who was there. Were you with the
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Can I ask you something? Did it work for you? What was your aim, and what was the serendipity that arose from this trip?
No, it's definitely true. What they say is that it's so huge, it's so big American kind of festival, and that you are constantly in a kind of FOMO. And so what they definitely do is that they help you to pick your good choice, and they facilitate the connection, and not only within the Dutch group, but also with all the countries who are there and all the good partners. So
is there something you recall that you thought I would never have been in this conversation or in this spot without them?
Yeah, and because there is a huge group of governmental people, and they were good for me, for my company. So I had never been in contact with someone from the embassy of the Dutch embassy in the United States when I was not there. So it was good for me. Yeah. So
excellent.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And I bet in the last 7 years you created lots of those stories of people.
Yes.
What would you say is the best one?
Ooh. It's always a challenge because we always forget someone.
Yeah,
well, I think one we should name, because we're here in Enschede. There's an entrepreneur in Enschede whose name is Bas Timmer. I'm not sure if anyone knows Bas Timmer.
Brought that video.
Founder of Shelter Suit.
Yeah.
He's actually one of the people under 30.
We should have brought that video.
Actually, we should have brought that video, actually. Yeah. So this is what happens, right?
We'll share it.
Bas Timmer is an entrepreneur in Enschede. He has a story, that's why there was a happening in his life where he changed and courted life, and he became, instead of like a fashionista, he became to build shelter suits where homeless people can live and work in. Yeah. He built them in Enschede. He went with us in 2019. He was named one of the youngest person by a magazine or by the UN or something, that he makes a change in the world. And to me, he's also an inspiration what you can do with your life in a very different course of way and really making an impact, because he's traveling around the world, building factories and making sure that homeless people have a shelter where they can sleep in, but also a coat. And for me, it's really, really impactful.
Yeah, and
what happened? What happened
in South by? So I think, well, of course, his energy, if you know him, is very contagious. So he had a lot of fun coming, so that's good. He's on a very heavy topic. I mean, homelessness is, and refugees. It's of course, it's a very serious topic. If you ever go to South by, you will notice that Austin, being the only liberal town in a very conservative state, actually has a huge homeless problem, and they were very visible, especially 2019. We were next to the Salvation Army, and there were literally people everywhere on the streets. And what we did, and what he did, and what we've managed to facilitate with the South by organization is that there is, maybe, I don't know if you have them here as well, but they had, throughout Austin, they have these huge banners. South by, South by, South by. So it's branding, right? Yeah. And what we did is we made a deal that we could take out the banners. We found a local sewing atelier who was also from the same mindset. All this happened in 2 or 3 days, and then we actually made 2 or 3 prototypes from the banners. We took the banners down, we made shelter suits from the banners, and we passed them out handed them out to the passed out people. No, we handed them out to the people, and we created a super inspirational story, which then got picked up, which took him to New York, which led to another story. Really? So I mean, but it's really what you bring to the table. So it's not our it's not our doing. No. We just facilitate his energy, and it's what they bring to the table, and that's what gives us energy, because in the end it's not. We don't basically we don't make any money from South by Southwest or from New Dutch Wave. It's not in that sense. It's more a foundation that we do because we really enjoy it. That's the real currency, right? So if people come there, they bring their energy, they have a new idea, a revolutionary idea. It can also be a product that sells, but this one was, of course, this was a great year, by the way. We also had this guy from Plastic, what's it called? Anyway, I'm going to forget his name, but we had a guy we took all the plastic from the river in Austin, and we made it, and we melted it, and we made
the Plastic Soup Foundation,
that's great.
Yeah. But that's you going there, but you told me just beforehand also people coming back.
Yes.
So this would be interesting for the Dutch Innovation Days if finally some people from Austin would come to Enschede
to
see what things would arise there.
Exactly. In 2000, and I think we have a movie on that.
Yeah, we do.
I think so too.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Michiel, roll the tape.
Yes.
We've been organizing the travel from the Netherlands towards South by the last year on the umbrella of the New Dutch Wave. And we now brought them back here in the Netherlands, visiting Amsterdam Dance Event and the Dutch Design Week.
We've just seen some amazing stuff, experienced some really beautiful moments. Already you see people opening up to each other, and there is this beautiful connection, which I really think is the most important part of what we do. It's enabling connection.
We've been organized an evening here of craziness, of beautiful openness, and I think it's absolutely amazing.
Well, the creative industry is all about ideas, and if you exchange ideas, especially abroad, then maybe you get a wider perspective of what's going on, and you can learn something from that, and also I think they can learn something from us.
Welcome to Rotterdam.
The creative industry here in Rotterdam is very agile, resilient, and it's unique in itself.
The whole program is so diverse, and it's so impressive to see everyone really getting high on all this sort of genius and all this energy, and exactly what mirrors what I feel when I'm in South by. So I think it's really working.
It's not about people coming to us, it's about us going out as well, continuing those conversations and collaborating.
Before coming here, I didn't know that Eindhoven existed. And now that I'm here, I see that it's one of the most vibrant, creative communities and cities I've ever been to.
I think we are a world leader when it comes to innovation, and we are Eindhoven, Brabant, the Rainport region. We have to go to Austin to be on that platform, not only to get things from there, but also to bring things to Austin.
I think the overall feeling I had over this counterwave was basically the feeling about South by Dippity, but here in the Netherlands.
My counterwave experience has been fantastic. I've loved every second that I've
experienced. It's been really inspirational. I mean, in a period of 36 hours, I've experienced world-class music, world-class art. I've seen innovation and kind of new technology.
So now we're ready for the next wave to Austin. So see you all there in South by. Tot ziens.
Cool. And
2018.
18. Okay.
18. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what was super nice? Oh, sorry. You wanted to ask a question?
No.
Oh, it was super nice. I mean, if we go to Austin, we're not choosing who comes with us, right? So it's just the Dutch entrepreneurs, creatives, governments, anything. We basically facilitate everyone who wants to come. We don't curate.
Really?
No.
So everyone here?
Everyone who wants to go to South by and you want to join New Dutch Wave, you're very welcome. We'll help. We're super interested to hear your story, and we make sure to connect you to the right people. So it's very improvisational. The other way around, I mean, again, it was kind of the combination of the timing, October, which is just in the middle of the year for South by, and the fact that ADE and Dutch Design Week are close together and are both two international Dutch events that actually are complementary to what happens at South by, because there's not really a lot of electronic music, and well, also Raymond can just testify that design is definitely not in America. It's not a beautiful festival. This is already designed much better than South by.
Yes.
It is, however, from the content perspective, it's amazing, but the design is not so good. So I think two things that the Dutch excel in happen within a week. And of course, we also took Rotterdam in our little round. So it was really nice to be able to suddenly be able to curate some of the not only the what happens in or tune in to what happened in the Netherlands at the same time, but also curate who went. So we had one guy from Cirque du Soleil, one guy. So it's a really interesting group of people. It was nice. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do it again. That's a shame. But,
but maybe now Enschede is tagging along.
Exactly. Enschede can be the next country.
Another thing that arises from this beautiful meeting. Exactly. And this is all we have time for. Maybe we can do one or two questions from the audience, if that's
if there are. We have a boombox.
Are there any questions, or somebody already says, I want to go to South by Southwest?
No.
No, let me then ask you to give the people here one final piece of advice for go to the expo, and when they going into the last day of the Dutch Innovation Days, and tomorrow you can go to the expo, and there are several. Oh, there's a question.
There's a question. Sorry.
Okay, then I'll hold this one and do first your question. Come back to you. Sir.
Good catch.
Excellent.
So Southwest. South by Southwest. Is also for software a good place to be, or is not that kind, not for that industry?
I can name several other events that are much more into software.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
So I think you should really look at South by Southwest as a place where you really go into discussion with an end user. It's really something you can use. And sometimes software is very intangible, right?
Yes.
And those people are there, but they're very hard to find, to be honest.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
So what would you recommend for events?
Well, I'm not sure in what software you're in, but I'm not sure if you're a startup or a scale-up.
I'll connect you to afterwards.
Yes.
You can go
exactly.
into that. Cheers, because we... Sorry.
It's okay.
Thank you. Because we really have to wrap up and make the stage, I think Anna is next.
Yeah.
But one last question. As we go into the Dutch Innovation Days and everybody's, and of course we want to meet, some of us want to make friends, others make new partnerships, build a business together. Can you give us one ingredient of what facilitates serendipity?
I would definitely, walk up towards someone sometimes you just don't know.
Okay.
And really try to understand what he or she is doing and try to understand how can you connect her or him in what way in what you're doing, just out of the blue.
Okay, that is a cool one. Just walk up to someone out of the blue.
Interested as meeting. I'm gonna say that. No, but I do agree. If you see anyone with a badge, they're as interested as meeting new people as you are, and they're also as nervous maybe to open up a conversation. So they will be super happy if you do it. It's really as easy like that. Yeah. You say, hi, what are you doing here?
Yes.
Where are you from?
The question was, how do you open the conversation?
Exactly. Are you also waiting?
A key trick here is everybody wants to talk about themselves.
Exactly.
Like these guys. I just asked them, and they sit here, and they open up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you so very much for sharing your ideas,
for
for making us very enthusiastic about South by Southwest. I'm thinking, I will want to be on this list. Hopefully till next time with a group of Americans here in Enschede.
Hope so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Arne Koefoed and Danny Frietman.
Thank you.